I clutched my coffee mug a little tighter, the steam rising like the tension in the room, as Megan's words cut through the chatter like a desert wind. "So, next week I'll be crashing at your place," she said with that easy grin of hers. Like she was talking about grabbing tacos after work, not appending my life. Just until I get back on my feet. The pop of the sparkling cider, Dad's go-to for celebrations since he quit the hard stuff, echoed from the kitchen. And he came back beaming, pouring it into the mismatched glasses Mom pulled out for special occasions. The table was set with her good linens, the ones usually reserved for Thanksgiving barbecues or 4th of July cookouts here in our small Arizona town, where the sun baked everything into a golden haze. I should have seen it coming, the extra place setting, the way Megan was perched at the head, like she owned the spot. This wasn't our usual Sunday potluck, it was a setup. "I've already started boxing up my stuff," Megan went on, taking a sip and nodding thanks to Dad. "Shouldn't take more than a weekend to haul it over." Mom and Dad exchanged those satisfied looks, the kind that said they'd orchestrated this perfectly, as if my say-so was just a rubber stamp. "To fresh starts," Dad toasted, lifting his glass. Everyone clinked, except me. It all clicked then. The storage bins I'd spotted in the garage a few days back, labeled with Megan's name, winter gear, old books. I'd texted her about it, and she'd shrugged it off as just extra space till I sort my apartment.
Yeah, right.
And that overheard phone call last week. Mom chatting with Aunt Clara, Emily's rattling around in that big ranch house all alone. Megan could use the company. Perfect timing. Really. As if my life was just a spare room waiting to be filled. I set my mug down, steady as the saguaro cactuses dotting the hills outside Phoenix, and reached for my tote bag. My hands weren't shaking from nerves anymore, just pure, slow-burning anger. "Why so serious?" Megan chuckled, glancing at our parents like they were in on the joke. "This is win-win. You get some sister time, and I save on rent while I job hunt." My fingers found the envelope I'd almost left in the truck, figuring tonight wasn't the night. But with my family, there's never a right night, only their schedule, their needs, their world. I placed it on the table, right next to the platter of Mom's famous green chili enchiladas. "Actually," I said, my voice even, "I've got some news too." Their faces shifted like storm clouds rolling in over the Superstition Mountains. Mom's smile froze, her eyes sharpening. Dad lowered his glass, brow furrowing. It was that united front they always formed when I didn't play along, the difficult daughter bucking the script. "What news?" Mom asked, her tone laced with that warning edge. "Don't mess this up." I could feel the old labels hovering. Selfish, ungrateful, the one who never puts family first. But looking at them, I saw the pattern clear as day. Megan takes, I give, they referee. It had been that way since we were kids in this dusty corner of the West, where family ties are supposed to be unbreakable, like the Red Rock Canyons. I slid the envelope forward. "This is the closing docs for my house. I sold it last week. Got 30 days before I hand over the keys." Silence hit like a flash flood. Megan's glass tipped, spilling cider across the tablecloth. No one moved. Dad's jaw worked soundlessly, like he'd swallowed a scorpion. "You did what?" Megan whispered, her face paling under the freckles we both got from summer's hiking in Sedona. I pulled up my phone, showing the Zillow app history I'd stumbled on that morning. Mom and Aunt Clara's shared board titled Megan's Cozy Corner. "Funny timing."
Huh.
"While you were planning your move-in, they were already picking out curtains for your room in my house." The recognition hit them like a hubbub dust storm. 9 years I'd scraped together every dime for that ranch-style home on the outskirts of Scottsdale, overtime at the marketing firm, skipping Vegas weekends, wearing the same boots till they fell apart. It was my slice of the American dream, with its wraparound porch and view of the McDowell Mountains.
To them,
Just another handout for Megan. Dad shot up, looming like he did when we were teens. You can back out. There's always a rescission period in Arizona real estate law. Mom joined him, hand on his arm. We promised Megan she could stay as long as needed. You can't leave her high and dry in 30 days. Aunt Clara chimed in from her seat. We were going to help move her stuff Tuesday while you're at work. Make it seamless. The betrayal stung worse than a cactus spine. I glanced at Dolores, Mom's longtime bridge partner from the neighborhood, who'd been invited for dinner but now stared at her plate like it held state secrets. You can't do this, Dad growled, dangling his usual bait. What about those property taxes? I always chip in for those. Not subtle, the one thing he covered each year. Now a leash. Mom switched to her concerned voice. Emily, this impulsiveness worries me. Are you okay? Getting enough rest. Classic move. If I'm not bending, I must be breaking. Megan's tears started. You did this to spite me, didn't you? Knowing I lost my job. It hit hard, but I held back the full story. The roof caving under monsoon rains, the busted AC in 110-degree heat, the plumbing fiasco that ate my savings. What good would explaining do? They'd twist it anyway. I made this call for me, I said firmly. It's done. So, you're okay with your sister on the streets? Mom snapped. After all we've done? The guilt ledger flipped open. As always one-sided. Under the table, Dolores squeezed my hand and whispered, "Atta girl, one ally in the storm." It meant everything. The calls started rolling in like tumbleweeds the next morning. Aunt Clara first. Emily? Honey, is it true you sold just to block Megan? Then Uncle Ray. Cousin Brooke. Even Dad's old golf buddy from the club. Each one parroting the tale. Megan's desperation. My cruelty. By evening, Facebook lit up, Megan's post. Blood should be thicker than water. But sometimes family forgets when you're down. Comments poured in. Mom's at the top. We're with you. Sweetie. My knife chopped veggies harder for my solo salad. Thursday, at work, my coworker Lisa pulled me aside. Bumped into your sister at the coffee shop. She mentioned the house thing, if she needs temp housing. My church in Tempe has resources. I gritted my teeth. What did she say exactly? Just that she's facing eviction cause of your sudden sale. Seemed devastated. I texted Megan. Stop spreading lies about me making you homeless. Her reply. What else do you call ditching the place I was counting on? The truth? It started with the roof $12,000 after a freak hailstorm. Insurance denying half. I dipped into my 401k. Canceled a trip to the Grand Canyon. Then the AC died mid-July. $7,500 gone. I picked up freelance gigs. Ate beans and rice. The septic tank backup in September? $6,000 final nail. Nights blurred into spreadsheets. Tears in the dark. My reflection showing the toll, hollow cheeks. Faded jeans hanging loose. But I documented it all. Receipts. Statements. Screenshots. Proof against their narrative. Packing became therapy, books from shelves into boxes. Photos wrapped carefully. I found one, me on closing day, keys in hand, grinning like I'd conquered the West.
Pride.
Pure and mine.
No one could take that.
Saturday brought the unannounced visit. Mom's SUV and Megan's beat-up Jeep in my driveway. No heads up. I considered ignoring the knocks, but they persisted like monsoon thunder. Opening the door, they marched in like sheriff's deputies on a warrant, faces set in judgment. Mom eyed the packed boxes. You're actually doing this insanity. I kept wrapping knickknacks from Sedona art fairs. Closings in 3 weeks, buyer solid. Per Arizona's disclosure laws. Your sister needs you, Mom pressed, voice rising. You've always been the independent one. But this is cold. The words echoed our childhood. Megan the sensitive one. Me the tough one who could handle anything. Has anyone asked what I need? I shot back. Stacking plates. Financial peace? Sleep without bill nightmares? Not raiding my IRA for fixes. For once. Silence. Megan shuffled feet. Dad inspected the ceiling fan like it was suspect. Dolores showed up that night with takeout from our favorite Mexican joint in Phoenix and a 6-pack of local craft beer. We packed albums while she shared her saga with her own sister. Refused to bail her out of debt once. Didn't speak for years. But family chains are the heaviest to snap. By Monday, support trickled in, a text from coworker Tom. Truck for moving? Family's blind sometimes. My advisor Barbara emailed. Townhome prequal looks golden, cuts costs 38%. Smart move for stability. The contrast hit hard. These folks offered real help, not demands. That night, I laid out my docs, every invoice, withdrawal, tax form. Tomorrow's family meeting wouldn't be their ambush, it'd be my stand, backed by facts under Western Sun. They arrived Tuesday like a posse. Parents, Megan, Aunt Clara, Uncle Ray, Cousin Brooke. I stood at the table's head, envelope in hand. Before accusations fly, see this. I spread the papers. Roof bill $12,000. AC $7,500. Septic $6,000. Emergency fund?
Wiped.
Advisor said sell now or risk foreclosure later. Arizona market's hot. But repairs ate me alive. Megan stood. This is spin. Emily. You're dodging family duty. Uncle Ray. The family elder, whose word carried weight like a judge in Maricopa County, turned. Megan, what's your job status? Heard you're exploring. She stammered. Market's tough. Mom defended. This ain't about jobs, family first. Aunt Clara peered at bills. Why not crash with you? Clara, your guest's suite's empty. The tide turned, questions flying not at me. Dolores spoke. Known y'all 25 years. Emily bootstrapped this house solo. Megan's gotten rent help. Car fixes.
On laisse seconde chance.
Barbara added. Enabling hurts, depletes the giver. Stunts the taker. Tom shared. My cousin sponged off folks till 40. Lost everything when they died, never learned independence. Quiet fell. Outsiders cracking our family facade. Uncle Ray. Emily. Why hide the struggles? I paused. Pride had been my shield. Figured I'd handle it alone. Like always. Dad's stare at the floor. Mom's posture softened. Megan bolted. Y'all treat me like a leech. Emily's the star. I'm the screw-up. No one chased her. Uncle Ray, time for family budgeting for all. Including Megan. For the first time, I wasn't the villain. Boxes checked off. 1 week left. Doorbell rang. Parents and Megan. Faces hopeful. We got a fix, Mom said. Barging in. Compromise, Dad echoed. Megan. Thanks for listening. They sat. I stood. Instead of moving in, help Megan with her own spot, alone to start. Dad. With your salary? It's nothing. Megan. Some folks just hit rough patches. Implication you owe. I walked to the table. Showing townhome approval. This cuts payments 38%, rebuilding savings after repairs. Can't fund Megan. But I handed her a card. My firm's hiring entry-level marketing. Pays enough for a studio in Mesa. HR's open to interviewing you.
Speechless.
She stared. Not handout chance. Dad rose. Be reasonable, Megan needs. I cut in, revealing spreadsheet. 5 years of their gifts to her, rent, cards. Total circled red. Mom gasped. This ain't help, it's crutches. Hurting us all. Dad studied it. We thought we were loving. Best love teaches standing tall, I said, echoing his old words when I struggled in college. No easy outs, find a way. Silence. Then Dad. We should head out. Mom avoided eyes. Megan hesitated, then pocketed the card slyly. Door closed. House empty but free. Phone blinked messages ignored. Marissa's card grab? A spark of change. The move to my new townhome in downtown Scottsdale felt like shedding old skin under the relentless Arizona sun. Boxes unpacked. Sunlight poured through floor-to-ceiling windows, warming the minimalist space that cost a fraction of the old ranch. 3 months in, and it was home compact, efficient.
Mine.
I updated my budget app, mortgage green. Savings rebuilding. Barbara's check-ins turned from crisis management to growth talks. I splurged on a DSLR camera, signing up for a night class at the community college, creativity over survival. Sunday dinner loomed, but I arrived with wine, not dread. Dad hugged warmly. Emily, check what Megan made. In the kitchen, Megan arranged a salad. Got my first paycheck, marketing cord. Fancy title for errands. But I'm picking it up. Her smile was real. Mom, tell us about that ad campaign. Then to me. And your photos? Balanced attention and novelty. A week later, my loft buzzed with laughter, Dolores toasting, to boundaries like canyon walls. Uncle Ray joined, framing 2 pics. Old house closing. New keys. 2 triumphs. Weekend after, Megan and I hunched over spreadsheets. 15% saved. Apartment by spring. Parents watched. Should have taught this sooner, Mom admitted. Dad nodded. Unlearning old ways. As Megan crunched numbers with grit I'd missed before, I pondered, helping versus enabling? The line's thin. But crossing it teaches true strength, letting loved ones stumble to soar. The whispers started subtle, like the first hints of a monsoon building over the horizon. At first, it was just odd looks from neighbors when I'd wave on my morning jog around the new complex. Then the texts, heard about the house, tough break for your sis. I ignored them, focusing on settling in, hanging my desert landscape prints on fresh walls. But by week 2 in the townhome, the narrative had spread like wildfire in dry brush. It peaked at the local farmers market in Phoenix, where I bumped into an old high school friend.
Sarah.
Emily. Megan told me everything, selling the house right when she needed it most. That's bold. Her tone dripped with judgment, the kind reserved for family scandals in our tight-knit Western community. I forced a smile. It's more complicated. But inside, the old anger flickered. That night, I confronted Megan over coffee at a neutral spot, a diner off I-10. Why spread the homeless story? You have options. She stirred her mug, felt abandoned.
But
that job, it's working. Thanks. A crack in the armor. We talked, really talked for the first time since kids. About pressures, favoritism. Mom and Dad always babied me, she admitted. Made me weak. I shared my burdens. Carrying it all solo made me strong. But lonely. The conversation shifted something. Next family dinner. Tension eased. Dad proposed. Group financial workshop? Local credit union offers them free. We all signed up, awkward at first, but eye-opening. Learning about Arizona's consumer protection laws,
Budgeting apps.
even estate planning to avoid future messes. Months blurred, my photography blossomed into a side gig, shooting sunsets over Camelback Mountain. Megan moved to her own apartment in Tempe, budgeting like a pro. Parents adjusted, no more bailouts. More encouragement. One evening, as we hiked Papago Park, Mom pulled me aside. We messed up. Favoring her. Thought it was love. I hugged her. It's okay, we're fixing it. The lesson settled gentle. Families like the desert. Harsh. But resilient. Support without strings lets everyone bloom. But peace fractured when an envelope arrived, certified mail from a lawyer in Tucson. Notice of intent. Familial dispute. My heart dropped.
Megan? No, Aunt Clara.
Claiming I'd coerced the sale to dodge family obligations, citing some obscure Arizona kinship law twist. Paranoia? Or real? I called Barbara. This legit? She reviewed. Frivolous. Family can't force housing. But defend it. The mystery unfolded. Clara, bitter over exposed enabling, stirred drama for control. A court date loomed in Maricopa Superior. Small claims, but symbolic. I prepped docs. Witnesses. Day of. Family packed the gallery. Judge eyed the mess. This ain't about law. It's therapy fodder. But he ruled. No legal duty to house siblings in Arizona. Case dismissed. Relief washed over.
Outside.
Clara fumed, but Megan approached. Sorry, she dragged me in.